Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to the show. My name is DDare Bionic, if you did not know, and I am black. Ooh, with another video. Now, I have been a performer for a very long time, and by performer, I mean an actor. I've been acting for 10 plus years, like since high school and beyond. I've been acting for a really long time. And within the past couple of years, I have started directing. People have been trusting enough to give me a script and tell me, hey, direct this show. So I wanted to give a little bit of advice from a fairly new but pretty seasoned director, I would like to say. And I want to start this by saying I am not classically, technically, or school trained. I am simply out here doing a damn thing. Like, I feel like the best training when it comes to theater is in the theater. I feel like you can get a lot from school, and a theater degree is great, but I didn't go to school for theater, and I have grown leaps and bounds since I began. And it's all from just being a part of the process, creating a show. I've literally put shows together from the ground up. Written, produced, directed, done it all. And I have learned so much in the past 10 years that I want to share that knowledge with those of you who are hoping to join the theater community as a director. Today's video is specifically about directing. So buckle up. If you like this sort of content coming from me or any of my content, make sure you like this video. Comment down below what part of the theater community you want me to talk about next, be it acting, be it auditioning. What do you want to hear from me next about theater? And subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit that notification bell so you get a notification every single time I post a video. I post twice a week nowadays, and I've been keeping to it, baby. I am so proud of myself. Look at me growing and glowing. Like I said, today's video's focus is directing. So I have been a director for probably about 5 years now, I think. Has it really been 5 years? 4 years. 2019, 20, well, we don't count 2020, so 21, 22, 23. So I'll say 4 years. My directorial debut was a show called My Infinite Sadness. It was written, produced, and directed by Moi. Here is the poster. And that was my first time producing and really putting a show together from the ground up. Literally out of my own pocket. Like, comment down below if you want the video on that process, the behind the scenes of putting a show on. So you want to be a director. So you have the inkling, desire, need, want to be the creative control behind a project. Here's step number one, act first. I mean that. I feel personally, like I said, I'm not the end all be all. I'm not an expert by any means, but I feel my acting experience has led me to being a better director. And that's because I've been directed by so many incredibly talented directors. I have gotten to know so many people who have given me so many tips, who have encouraged me to become a director, who believe in my artistic vision and my talent on stage. They were like, you would be really good at this. You know, I feel like as a director, you have to know what the actors are going through. You have to know, you have to have been there to be able to acknowledge, understand, and feel what the actors are feeling on stage. You have to have a working knowledge of how acting works and how to tap into those emotions yourself to give someone direction on how to bring those emotions to fruition. So act first, be an actor, and I would say act for a couple years before you start directing. So step two is read the show. You have been contacted by a group. They want to work with you. You've done your research on this group. You like what they do. You've worked with them before, who knows? But you feel confident in your abilities. You feel confident in the group. You feel supported. Read the show. If you're fortunate like me, you'll get to work with some groups who will let you pick a show yourself, so you can read through a couple different scripts. I'll be completely honest, not everybody consumes plays like, you know, some people. I know a lot of theater people who are constantly reading shows and reading. I'm not one of those people. I'm just simply not one of those people. I love theater. I love reading plays, but I don't love reading plays, if that makes sense. It is a bit of a task sometimes because it's harder to interpret with just the dialogue. But read that script cover to cover it at least once before you decide whether or not you want to direct it. I highly recommend reading it twice. Because the first time you're going to be like, okay, like this is cool. And then the second time you're going to actually get to, and even if you have time, grab a couple friends, read it out loud. Do as much research on the show, on the writer, on previous productions. Do as much research as you can about the show before you sign on to be like, this is the show I want to direct. If there's something in the show that doesn't make sense to you, like doors or certain effects that are supposed to happen or lighting or whatever, what have you. If there's something that doesn't make sense to you, look at other shows and see what they did to make those things happen. But always stick with your own artistic vision. Don't copy somebody else's vision. Of course, it's a play. It's going to be produced many times. There's going to be some similarities with everything, but make sure that you are sticking to a very clear vision of your own. Okay, so you've researched the show. You've read it out loud with your friends. You've read it many times yourself. You have an idea of what you want to do. Agree to direct the show. That's step 3. Tell the company, you're like, this is the show I want to direct. I love it. It's great. Let's go. All right, now you've signed on. You've crossed your T's and dotted your I's. You're ready to start with production. Now, read the script a couple more times. Before you cast the show, read it a couple more times. Make notes about each character. Make notes about your props. Make notes about the set. Draw up a set design. Even if you're not going to be your own scenic designer, draw up a set design just for your own vision, because for me, it helps me see where the actors are going to go on the stage. I typically am also my own scenic designer. I usually have a very strong hand in what I'm doing as far as what the set is going to look like in the final product. But that's a part of my artistic vision, and not all directors are like that. But like I was saying, make sure that you are making notes about every character, about the story, about the set, about props, about blocking. Like, do all of the hard work before you even get to auditions. It just is a preparedness that you need to have, that the actors will trust you if you have. So you've done your research, you've signed on to direct the show. You've made your notes and your lists about the cast, about who you want to see in the show, about what the characters are and what they represent, how they're moving on the stage. We are going to talk about pre-planning. Have your rehearsal schedule ready. So that at auditions, you can hand it to people and be like, or even if you don't have a physical copy, you can just be like, we were planning on rehearsing on these days and times. And I like to make I've mostly directed community theater, but I've done some professional as well. You like to keep the audition or the rehearsals at a time frame where people can like go to work in the morning, have time to decompress in between, and then come home. And also so that they're not rehearsing too much, especially with like a short play or a community theater production, if that's where you're getting your start. No more than 3 rehearsals a week. I don't think any show, unless it's a musical, needs more than 3 rehearsals a week on a community theater level. 6 weeks of rehearsal, 3 days a week. That tends to work very much for me. That's how I've done my rehearsals in the past, and that's how I've been rehearsed in the past. Anything more than that, I feel like has been a little bit too long of a rehearsal process, unless it's a more complex show. But 6 weeks and 3 days of rehearsal each week tends to be the sweet spot for most standard 2-act 90-minute plays. Now you're ready for auditions. And auditions are where you can kind of do whatever you want. Honestly, the whole process, you can do whatever you want. I'm not telling you that this is the definitive way to direct a show, but these are the things that have worked for me over the past couple years. So at auditions, I like to do cold reads. I have yet to do a monologue audition, and I would like to do one someday. But for me, especially as an actor, I prefer a cold read because A, I get to see a little piece of what I'm auditioning for, and B, as the director, I get to see the person in the role. Of course, a cold read is going to be, you've got the script for a couple minutes, and you go in and read. And you might mess up and you might do a really bad job, but there might be a spark somewhere in there that the director's like, you're the one. Yeah, you're the one. But definitely read people for as many parts as if they write down on their sheet that they want this part specifically, ask them if they're comfortable with the different part. Read them in other parts just to be like, I just want to see you do this part, or I just want to see you with this person. Make sure you try as many pairings and couplings and bits and pieces and puzzle pieces together as you can so that you have as much information to choose from when you're casting your show. Auditions are very, very important. Make sure you're conducting your auditions very fairly, very, very, very thoroughly. Every pairing you can. I cannot stress that enough. Once you've reached the rehearsal process, things kind of get a little less concrete, I guess you could say. I like to think that I'm kind of a mix of I've blocked the entire show, but I still want to see what you bring to the role. As far as blocking, if you don't know what blocking is, if you're watching this video and you've never done theater before, blocking is basically when you tell the actors where to go on stage. You enter stage left from this door. You come down the stairs and go stage right. You stay center until the lights go out. You run down stage. Like, that's what blocking is. It's telling people which direction they need to go on the stage, how to enter, how to exit, what's going on. And I like a more organic style because I like for shows I'm directing to feel collaborative. I like for the actors to feel like they have a piece of the puzzle as well, that they're an integral part. Without the actors, there is no show. And it feels good to get input from the actors on, well, I feel like the character would do this, or I feel like I should go this way, or I feel like I should do this. Now, there are certain instances where it's like, no, I have you doing that for a specific reason. Or the script, or a lot of the times actors, especially newer actors, will say, well, the script says I should do this. Okay, so?
I said what I said.
You have to add your own little spice and flavor. You have to make it your own. And there are puritanical directors who follow the script word for word, T for T. Word for word, you should follow. Learn the lines, and I gave this note a lot in the last show I directed. Learn the lines the way they're written, because that's going to mess up the next actor. And I'll talk about that more in an acting video. But learn the lines the way they're written. But as far as moving about the stage, every stage is going to be different. And you can't hold firm to what the blocking says in the script. You have to customize it to the space that you are directing in. You have to. It is inherent. If you are directing a show that calls for stairs and all this other crazy stuff, and you've got 4 feet by 4 feet and not enough room for all that to happen, you got to work with it. You got to fake those stairs somehow. You got to, you have to adjust everything to the space that you're in. So that's super important for being a director, being what's the word I'm looking for? Not adjustable, but what is the word I'm looking for? You have to be flexible. You have to be flexible as a director. In the beginning, the first couple of weeks of blocking rehearsals, I like to give as much direction as I can. Okay, we're going this way, we're going this way, we're going this way, we're doing this, we're going over here, and you're picking this up and you're doing that and you're leaving it there. Because a lot of times you're not rehearsing in the space that you're performing in, and you're not rehearsing with the walls up and with all of the set dressings and everything. So the first couple of rehearsals will be loose. They will be a general idea of where we're going. And once you have that general idea of where you're going and you start to put walls up and set pieces, then you really fine tune, and it's like, okay, that blocking doesn't work. Let's tweak that a little bit and go this way instead. Or let's not leave that on stage, because how's it going to get off stage? It's the beautiful thing about theater, live theater, is the rehearsal process grows and expands, and the show literally opens up and blossoms like a flower in front of your eyes. It's such a fun experience. I know a lot of people are scared to be on stage, but honestly, I encourage you to just be backstage, to be a stage manager, to be an assistant director, to be an usher, a light board operator, a soundboard operator, just anything involved in the theater process. It's so much fun, and it builds a level of character in you and an understanding of self that I attribute my whole experience to being a theater kid. Most of, if not all of who I am, is because of theater, and having played so many of those roles, it's so great. You're now moving to the phase of actors no longer have books in their hand. They're learning their lines. Be firm with your actors. I gave my actors, and I do this every single time, I give them an off book date. It's usually 4 weeks out from when we get our scripts. I don't know what you do in your free time, but I know one thing's better be learning your lines. You came and auditioned for this show, and I can't spend 5 of 6 weeks waiting on you to learn lines. And that's because that 6th week is tech week. That 6th week, if you don't know what tech week is, it's when we put all the pieces together, the lights, the sound, costumes, makeup, special effects, going in and out of doors. That's when you put everything together, and there is no time during tech week to still be learning lines. That's just the honest to God truth. So I give my actors a 4-week deadline on you got to be off book with line call on this rehearsal date. And then by that 5th week, you're not calling for a line anymore. That's one of the things that I appreciate about a really strict, I guess you can call, director. In the beginning of the process, I'm very organic and very nice and very, whatever. But once we get to the point where you need to be off book, that's when I start getting strict, because it's do or die. My favorite thing to say to actors when they don't know their lines is, I'm not the one that's going to look a fool on stage. That's you, not me. I don't have to learn any lines. You can't be too lenient and gracious with actors, because actors will take a mile if you give them an inch. And I say that as an actor. Actors will chew you up and spit you out and be like, well, you didn't say that there was a firm date. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And that's not all actors. Again, I will do a video on acting maybe next week. Maybe my acting video will come out next week. Maybe I'll make this like a little series real quick where I talk about theater. Comment down below what you want my next video about theater to be. Do you want it to be about acting? Do you want it to be about the audition process? Do you want it to be about finding auditions? I've got so much that I can talk about when it comes to theater with my 10 plus years of experience. So let me know. I don't know why I opened this series with directing. I guess it's the thing I'm most passionate about right now. Your actors have learned their lines. It's tech week. It's Thursday before opening night. You maybe have a little preview night. Your actors are done. What do? You sit back and enjoy. One of the great things about being a director is not being stressed once the show is up. I, basically let my actors know that the show is theirs. And now, you have to be encouraging to them. You have to be trusting of them to remember their lines, to remember their blocking, to do everything they said they were going to do. And to freaking kill it, man. Seeing it opening night and not having to give notes is the most rewarding part of all of it. Once they do that first night and they get those applause and they're killing it and they're firing on all 4 cylinders, it is, it's like magic. It's like a special feeling that you get from being a director. The best advice that I got as a director from another director, probably one of my absolute favorite directors, is delegate. Yes, you heard me right. Delegate. Are you directing a show? Do you want to run lights and sound? You don't? Okay, delegate that to somebody else. Do you want to be involved in the scenic design and building the set? No? Delegate that to somebody else. Do you want to be involved in picking out costumes and doing all that stuff? Delegate that to somebody else. If it's something you don't want to do, don't do it. Have your hand in it. Be the final say in it. Be the person who says yes or no and approves those props or those costumes or what have you. But delegate it. Delegate that shit. Truly, it will take so much off of your plate. I love theater. I really do. I really, really do. And I really love directing. Let's do a little quick recap of this. Step 1, act. Step 2, read the script as many times as you can before you sign on. Step 3, research. Do as much research as you can about the characters in the show. Step 4, cast that bitch. Make sure your auditions. Step 4, pre-plan. Get your rehearsal schedule set in stone. Get everything you need, documents, whatever you need. Get that all set in stone before your auditions. Step 5, auditions. Make sure that you are trying out as many pairings and collections of people as possible. Make sure that you are casting diversely. Make sure that you are giving as many people an opportunity to read as many times as you can. And step 5, rehearsals. Use the time wisely. That's why you pre-plan. That's why you block your show beforehand. That's why you research the characters beforehand so that in rehearsal you can spend as much time as possible making the show as beautiful as you possibly can. Step 5, get those actors together. Make sure they are off book. Make sure you are doing as much as you can to prepare them for the show and prepare yourself for the show. Step 6, delegate. Delegate. Give as many tasks to as many people that you don't want to do as possible. Step 7, make sure that you are the final say. You are the final yes or no. And the one thing that I forgot, this goes in with delegate, build a perfect team. Collect as many people as you can that you like, that you know are good at the tasks that you're going to give them. Build your production team around you. Whatever support you need, make sure that those people are able to provide that support for you. And your team, you are nothing without your team. Truly and honestly, you are nothing without your team. If you are trying to direct a show yourself, direct, assistant direct, stage manage, light, sound, you need a team. You are going to need a team. Take it from somebody who has done it, at least tried to do it once without a team. You will need a team. So put that team together and make sure that they are strong. And step 9, I guess this is, have fun. Don't stress yourself out too much about it. You know, even if you're getting a check at the end, theater is supposed to be fun. Whether it's professional or it's community, it's supposed to be fun. Have fun. Take your time. You know, get to know your actors on a personal level. Get to know your team on a personal level if they're not people you brought in personally. Get to know the show and the company. Do all the things to build as many relationships and network as much as possible so that they will bring you back to direct another show. Well, guys, I hope you feel well equipped to direct your next play if you have acted for several many years first. I really like the idea of doing this series of videos about theater. Theater is something I've been super passionate about my entire life and being a performer. So let me know what you want me to talk about next in the comments down below, and make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you get a notification every single time I post a video, which is twice a week. Make sure you shop Lunar Tide's hair color and follow me on all of my social media. I am at DDare Bionic on everything. The links are all down below to shop and to follow, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.